Short game wise, yes, I can. Long game wise, no. No, I have not.
He's talking the long game.
They played the long game.
The long game gotta play the long game.
They're experienced and they played the long game.
No, you're talking the long game.
They're experienced and they played the long game.
Very nice.
Long game is back.
All right, you heard the man. You heard Trevor Immelman. I think that's who it is. The long game is back, baby.
He didn't say rollback, did he? He said back.
He said rollback. We'll get into the rollback. Come on, man. We can't. 14 seconds in, we already got. I think if you say it, it helps the watch time, the listen time.
I'm just warning people to tune out now if they're not into that conversation.
How was your weekend, Case? Everybody.
It was great.
Everybody okay? Healthy?
Yeah, we have a 1 week no sick streak, which is
It's big.
we have one of those signs in our house that says it's been this many weeks since someone was sick, and it usually says 0. But
how
about you?
You're fucked for this week then.
No, yeah, definitely.
It's every other week. Weekend is great. Actually hit some golf balls yesterday with my son. He's 4, Sam. I don't try to push this golf on him at all. All weekend he asked me, can we go to the video game place and play golf? Can we go to the video game place and play golf? And that's this indoor place that I go to, because on the TrackMan they have these little, like, it's pretty sweet. You hit balls into like this like sea of, characters and snakes and fish, and he loves it. And we went there, and he's literally, for an hour and a half, I maybe made 3 swings, and I was like, wow, this is not what it used to be. I used to be like, I hit and he watches and he wants to whack it around. So
well, my kids are too young for that, but I feel like when I get to that age, I'll be fine with only swinging 3 times. Like, you just enjoy just as much watching them actually enjoy golf, right?
Yeah, it was cool. It's cool. When he was 3, he used to get really frustrated. I mean, he still does, because it's obviously hard to hit the ball, but like, he's hitting it so much better now. And I'm like, wow, how fun could this be? Like, if he gets into golf and we can play golf together. I'm not trying to ruin it. I'm not trying to put any pressure on it, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that frustration doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Also,
don't let him know that.
Side tangent. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but let me. Do you know what today is? Do you know what today's date is, Case?
Hove Day.
It's Hove Day. Happy birthday to Hove, if you're listening. Thank you, Mr. Carter, for all you've done.
Oh, he's listening. Huge golf guy.
He's listening. How old is Jay-Z actually? How old is Jay-Z? Let me see.
I bet it's shockingly old.
I think he's going to be in his 50s. Yeah.
51,
54.
52.
Wow, man. This is like, we're getting to that point in life. Tiger's 48. Jay-Z's 54.
Yeah.
This is okay,
crazy.
real quick. What is your go-to? What's your favorite Jay-Z album?
That's a great question. I wasn't prepared for this. I think I really liked Volume 2, right? Life and Times of Sean Carter, Volume 2. Way back in the day. We had to do like an autobiography, like this old, I think in like 3rd grade or 4th, 5th grade. I honestly forget when it was. We had to do this book where it's like a compilation of all the work we did for the year.
Yeah.
Like these essays and drawings and
Yeah.
bullshit. And they like actually pressed it into a hardbound book. I have it still. And we had to name it. And on the side of mine, it says The Life and Times of Casey Ford, Volume 2. A reference that nobody in my middle school class got, but
Volume 2 is Hard Knock Life. Volume 3
that's
is
because like such an entry point for me. But I think if I had to say like the one I listened to the most, probably the Black Album.
The Black Album. I mean, also the Black Album for us was like, that was junior year of high. I think it's so much of a nostalgic thing for me. Like that was basketball.
And that was his retirement album. He had no albums after that, right?
Sure. Yeah, he hasn't put out an album since.
He's in his 50s now, right?
Yeah, he's gone. Mine is
also Unplugged is a classic. I wasn't counting that as an original album, but that's probably my favorite.
We're friends. Unplugged is a tremendously good, very
Jaguar
underrated,
Wright.
Like Mary J. Blige, because the Roots band.
Speaking of which, 2 back-to-back episodes with Mary J. Who would have had that on the odds?
No, the Mary J has been talked about more than Tiger Woods on this podcast. The Unplugged is great. The Roots band is fantastic, and that was.
What's
great.
your album?
I don't want this to sound like a cop out, but for me, Black Album is great. It's the Blueprint, the original, not Blueprint 2, Blueprint for me. Blueprint is the one that I can play
Yeah.
front to back, any mood, a chill mood, a energetic mood. I can always play the Blueprint, like Song Cry he's got something for everybody.
And really the arrival of Kanye West.
And the arrival of Kanye West. That's right. I actually, and then there was the Blueprint 2 where Kanye had that verse on the Bounce, but he wasn't actually featured as an artist on that song. And I remember like, who is this? And then that set off the whole other generation. And then Kanye came out, and then the year later was 50 Cent. Man, that was such a fun time.
That song has the Gingerbread Man line, right?
Yeah. It sure does.
Well, ask me one more time my favorite Jay-Z album.
What's your favorite Jay-Z album?
The next one.
There isn't gonna. He's not gonna put one out.
I don't know.
He's doing too much.
Hopefully not another one with Beyonce. But
what do you got?
Anyway,
what's wrong with Beyonce, dude?
No, that album he put out with Beyonce was terrible. But
all right. Good thing we started a golf podcast, by the way, because did you ever expect that? It's December. It's the first week of December, and there is just like so many things happening. And so, whatever you want to take about PGA Tour and Live and golf news and rollback and this thing and that thing, like it's pretty damn fun. The reason I want to do this podcast with you, and we were talking about some golf stuff offline before, is like for me, golf it's allowed me to scratch the itch of somebody who wanted to be a competitive athlete since I was like 8 years old. And like we've talked about, it's a long game, so we can still play it. So I can still think that I'm an athlete, but it's also like a form of escapism, right? I can just get into the golf news and like, what does this all really matter in the scheme of life? It doesn't, but it's a fun little hobby for us. And we have plenty of things to talk about today. First thing is the Hero World Challenge, which was over the weekend, 20 guys. We talked about it. Case, shout out to your boy, Scotty, the Body Scheffler. Your pick for the week. You're over the 2 million mark in the leaderboard now. Any reaction to Scotty from the weekend?
Yeah, I think it was the number one reason I told you I was picking him last week was I didn't see him up at 4 a.m. with Tiger, on the craps table or burning the midnight oil. I figured he'd be in bed, up at Bible study early with Sam Burns in the morning, and he showed up. The big problem for Scotty recently has been the short game and on the greens, and he switched to a new putter this week, and looks like it worked out for him. So glad to have picked him. Big win for him.
Wait, this is actually so it's first dub with a new putter. That's a real story.
Yeah, Olsen Putter Company. Ever heard of it?
Have not.
He had switched, I think, from a Scotty. He tried out a TaylorMade, I think, recently, and this week went to the Olsen Putter Company, 7-year-old company. Custom putters. It's based on the Answer 2 model. Appears to be a one-piece milled shaft or one-piece milled head. Excuse me.
I gotta look this up. The Olsen putter, the Answer 2 was like an OG. I used to have. Wow, this is a nice looking putter. Putters are so weird. There's all these like super high end like niche brands. And putting.
Custom. Big win for him. Tiger knocking off the rust too.
Hold on. Pump the brakes on Tiger. We're gonna get there. There. I got a lot to say about Tiger.
Salivating.
Scotty's first win since the Players. Last year, which for most people would not be a big deal. It'd be like, wow, all this guy does is win. But he kind of had, from midsummer on, he kind of was the best ball striker in the world, but couldn't win. So not an official PGA Tour victory, but he gets the cash. It's a win. And I saw a lot of complaining on Twitter about this, but it's not an official PGA Tour victory, but he gets OWGR points for this, which is interesting.
Crazy. And the funniest thing I saw all weekend, and I think it tells you exactly everything you know about this tournament. And I'm sorry to again step into Tiger territory, but I saw someone in the beginning of the week say if Tiger finishes in last place, he still gains like 200 world ranking points because he's finishing top 20 or whatever, right? So
yeah, the
tournament is what it is. It's a good kind of entry point after the holidays, or excuse me, after Thanksgiving. Before we kind of get into this January swing where they hit Hawaii and they're off and running. It's kind of a nice little, I call it like a all-star game because you get in the top guys and it's fun, but Not a whole lot of golf on the course.
Well, I can't wait till we do this pod from like January on, because this is all just kind of nonsense stuff right now. Like when we get into an actual season, like if you have an NBA podcast and you have the frame of the NBA season, it's much you you and me have started this podcast. We had the RSM, we had nothing for a week. We have the Hero, we got the Grant Thornton, we got the PNC, and then we're back. So I'm excited to get into the real season and have this matter a little bit.
Yeah, have the golf matter. And it's funny, and you mentioned it, but when did golf become like such a 24/7 365 news sport? Like we started doing this a month ago. There's been nothing but news stories, really. There's been a few golf tournaments, and this is a downtime, but golf is kind of dominating the headlines in a lot of ways the last few weeks, between the Tiger Rory virtual league or the Rom stuff, or this rollback news we're going to get to, Tiger coming back. Like golf has been as prominent as I can ever remember it, October, November, December.
You follow that account Nuclear Golf on Twitter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, they are like, it's the logo, it's the name, it's the way they tweet with like the emojis. It's like, it's always like the most breaking, like bombshell.
Yeah.
It almost feels like one of those like political Twitter feeds where they have some like super controversial. But anyway, I've been trying to engage with all their stuff, so I see it all in my feed now, and that's where I'm getting all my news, and I love it.
Yeah. It would, to your point though, it'd be nice to get back to actually caring about what's going on the course, as we kind of got a little bit of this weekend.
Yeah. All right. So, did you watch just personally? Did you watch any of the golf?
Yeah, I watched more Thursday and Friday. I did Saturday, Sunday. I caught the a little bit of the recap of.
It was on
yesterday.
during the day, Thursday, Friday, which was nice.
And I gave you, Dave, a free bet. I said I'll put in a bet for you, anyone you want, and you picked Lucas Glover. So that had me locked in. Lucas was the first guy off the tee, I think, on Thursday. I pitched you on the idea of creating a Lucas tracker, like a Tiger tracker, but
my picks were terrible. I had Victor Hovland, who finished 10th. I had Lucas Glover, who finished 12th, and then Max finished T13. Like, how do you not just pick Scotty there? You had the first pick.
I had the first pick. But would you have taken Scotty? Are you taking Vic for the 3P no matter what last week?
I don't know what I'm doing. This is like, I don't know. I have no idea.
But don't let the audience hear that, Dave. They think we're experts.
All right, some notable things here. Just a quick rundown of the leaderboard. Obviously, Scotty with the victory. JT, a third place finish for JT, has kind of been nowhere. You had this in our notes earlier, and I've heard this come up a bunch of times, but I want to hear your perspective. There was some story about him and his diet that had do you want to share that with us?
Well, he was gluten-free, dairy-free, I think, for a while. That was part of that Netflix Full Swing episode they had on him.
Did he say why though? And as you know, obviously you got some skin in the game. Your wife is very knowledgeable in this area. Did he say why? He went to some the doctor to the stars, and they said don't eat dairy, don't eat gluten, and you're gonna make some putts. Like, I don't understand what was bothering him.
I think this is right. It might be wrong, but I think it had to do something with his back, maybe.
Can we clip that?
Yeah.
That is what this podcast is about. I think this is right, but it might be wrong.
I think this is right. But I think back inflammation, that kind of stuff. Okay. I would have to guess. I mean, like you mentioned, my wife is a registered dietitian, so I hear all this kind of stuff at home. Don't always listen to it, but I hear it all at home. But with inflammation, I think maybe that's a concern. Either way, he said, "I'm done doing it," and I love this quote. He said, "If you guys hear of me doing that again, please tell me to stop," which is a hilarious thing to say about. If you ever hear me trying to get in shape again, please tell me to stop.
Yeah, please tell me to stop. It's so strange. Okay, but it's also so strange because like he got advice. Like, he went to see someone. They said do this thing. He said, "Meh, tried it, not for me." Like, that's just who he seems to be in my head. Is like he wants to. I don't know the guy personally, obviously, but my JT meter. As a golfer, watching him play golf, love him, love his game, can't get enough. The more that I hear him talk, the less that I find myself liking him, which hurts me a little bit. I feel the same way with him. I feel the same way with Spieth. We're going to talk about Collin Morikawa a little bit. The more I hear those guys, I'm like, I think I would hate you if this was in real life.
Yeah, I think he's he's in a unique place too, just as far as assessing his own game, because he grew up. His dad was like the PGA Tour of America Coach of the Year or something every year. So
Sure.
someone who's, since he's probably ever held a golf club, has been in his own head about all these things. So he's kind of like it's weird. Him and Spieth are similar, but Spieth is way more I don't know what the word would be in his head. And it seems like JT kind of is a little more bombastic with his kind of approach, but I like him too. I wonder if he has a similar trajectory. I just made up a word there.
I
Trajectory.
love
Make
it.
the case, Dave. What do you like? Trajectory.
Trajectory. Yeah, it's hot.
Um,
Trademark it.
I wonder if his career will have the same kind of trajectory as like a Rory, where they come on the scene so hot, a lot of early success. Not that he didn't win a major a couple of years ago, JT, but then kind of swing change. They kind of, not that Rory ever went rock bottom, but Rory went years without being who he's kind of come back to being. So I wonder if it's just one of those things where you get on tour with the swing you have, you kind of hit struggles, you try to fix too many things, and then you got to kind of get back to the basics like Rory has the last few years.
Yeah. And I mean, it just speaks to as much as I don't love him, controversial, your boy Tiger. I'm kidding. Obviously I love Tiger. I grew up on Tiger, but
Of course.
just all these guys, when you see something like, when you see these JT clearly in elite, talent in the game of golf for generations, but like they all have ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
It just puts what Tiger did for a decade into just such a lens of like, holy shit, was he at a different level, where like all these guys, Rory comes in and out of it a little bit, JT comes in and out of it a little bit, Spieth is in and out of it a little bit. Kind of what
Fowler,
Scotty's, Ricky Scotty's like seems to be an anomaly. Like he's a machine, dude.
But
Like
I was just gonna say, like, hearing you talk about that and thinking of what's Scotty's version of that, it's really just been his putting was the last 9 months, right? And it wasn't even. He's still the best
Yeah.
ball striker in the world. He's still finishing top 5, 10 in all these tournaments. It's just the closing is hard when you're not
Like
putting well. But that's so impressive what he's been.
he
able
just
to do.
showed up and was like, meh. People think I haven't been playing great. Just won the hero. No big
Yeah.
deal. You ever see that video? It was like on TaylorMade Instagram where he's hitting balls in the range and he's like, he guesses the number, like he hits a driver and he's like 323, and then like they have the TrackMan or whatever, it's like 324. It's insane how precise he is with his long game,
Especially with his swing too. How that could be so consistent when your feet are moving like hummingbirds every time you make contact. It's weird.
I mean, that's his thing. Remember Michael Red, the lefty? He had that wild looking jumper. He was wet.
Yeah.
Okay, so JT, golf is better when JT's in the mix. So I'm glad to see
Agreed.
that. Return of Will the Thrill Zalatoris didn't go so hot. He finished 11 over, which I'm not a math guy, but he was in last place, 11 over. Scotty won. That's 31 shot. Think about that. Will Zalatoris would beat me by 100 shots in the whatever the number is. Scotty beat him by 31 shots this week. Him and Will and Wyndham Clark were the only guys over par. But how about Will's 4 rounds? 81, 68, 79, 71.
Relatable. Not the ones in the low
81,
70s or
68.
60s, but yeah, I've got that. Like I said, I had the 177 in the same week a few years ago. I kind of feel those woes. I hope that was rust he was kicking off. The fact that he could bounce back from those 2 bad rounds with good rounds is encouraging. But not only is he knocking out the rust too, but it seemed like he had a new putter this week too. He's definitely got a new swing. Every time I saw him putting, he's like got his shoulder blades kind of winged back and he's rubbing his spine. Like that can't be great, but good to see him back out there. I just hope this is just a first step.
The problem is if I showed up in April to play with the guys I always play with the long putter, like what would be the reaction?
They're just like, yeah, they think you're trolling.
It'd be so not appropriate.
No.
But I did see some clips. It seems like the putter's still an issue. But
I'll tell you, the Golf Channel did him so dirty. I was watching. Of course, the first tee time on Thursday was 10:30, so the Golf Channel's coverage starts at like 12:45 for some reason because they need 2 hours of pregame for a 20-person field in the Bahamas. But they did this like 10-minute package of his journey back, kind of really emotional, tugging at the heartstrings. And then he's here this week. He's working on a new putter, and they just cut to him live on the practice green with like his team around him, and he just immediately, it says live, so it's live, and he just misses like a 2-footer, just like yanks it. Like, come on, guys, that didn't need to be live.
It's like I sent you that. I sent you that clip with Scotty. Scotty had the putting mirror out, and he just hammer pulled a 6-footer, and like that was the only clip they posted.
Unreal.
All right, what else should we talk about from the hero? We got to talk about the cat. I'll let you go. What do you want? What's your reaction to Tiger?
That's back. I think what can we say about Tiger that hasn't already probably been said?
Sure.
He looks great. He's hitting the shit out of the ball, which is very impressive. His swing speed seemed to be up, which had been going in the wrong direction last year at Augusta. I'll say the one of the biggest takeaways I had from this, and just watching him, it was jarring to see him without his caddy, which I don't think really affected him. But there was this one. Did you see the shot? I think it was Thursday. It went viral because he hit like a chip out of the bush, like 18 inches. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He kind of just like tried to like decelerated on it. I just happened to catch that live because I saw him hit the tee shot, and he had, I forget who was on the bag, as like his friend or someone who works for his company, who apparently is a good golfer and has been kind of a someone he's kind of leaned on in the past for assessing his swing, but not a coach in by any means. But just watching Tiger come up to this situation where he was in this bush, he didn't know which way to go. He kind of had to play backwards, or was he going to try to advance it, or what were his options for taking a drop or unplayable? And the caddy was just standing there looking. And not that Tiger ever really heavily relies on his caddies like Steve Williams or Joe LaCava, like that he calls them in. Usually you'll see him, but just seeing him kind of be on his own there, and he wasn't manic, but he was just going through this, like, you got to find the clip, but it was so interesting watching him. He didn't know what to do, and then he hits this 18-inch shot, and then he's like, I'm just going backwards to the fairway.
So Tiger's caddy this weekend was his longtime friend and confidant, Rob McNamara. And as we've talked about, Joe LaCava, the guy from the Ryder Cup with the hat, he took the bag of my boy, Project Patrick Cantlay. And it makes sense why. Obviously, Tiger is Tiger, but this thing that I'm reading from Golf Digest said, like, Tiger's going to play 4 or 5 times in a year, so not the greatest caddying gig. But this guy kind of just seems like someone Tiger's comfortable with, his friend, his business partner, not someone who's going to hop in and be like, whoa, you can't hit the 5 here, the wind's 20 off the right.
No,
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So it was just so interesting to see. I've never, again, not that Tiger's the biggest talker like Spieth and Greller on the course, but just to watch him, the whole situation of coming up, finding the ball, going, like the other guy was like kind of just sat it out. He was like, what am I going to tell Tiger what to do here? Just kind of gave him the like, love that, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I also wonder, this is what's like, I wonder what the level of, like, even going into this week, like, do you think Tiger was like, yo, just carry my bag, like, be there for me to like make a joke with, like, I don't need you, like, I'm not expecting you to give me, more information than I can't figure out on my own.
And how about moving forward? What was going to use moving forward? We talked about this before. Someone did ask him about Charlie, like we brought up a few weeks ago, but he said there's no way he can play hooky from school that often because he's got a bright academic future ahead of him. But I think, we'll have to see who he takes. It's definitely not going to be this guy, I can tell you, because I don't think he really helped him that much.
Do you know when we're going to see him again, or are him and Charlie playing in the PNC? The PNC is 2 weeks from now, isn't it? And
yeah,
they played in it last
I think
year.
they are playing. Oh, okay. They're definitely playing in that. But again, that's kind of, if the hero is kind of a rinky-dink tournament, wait till you see the father-son challenge. But it'll be interesting to see him again hitting shots. But I don't think, as far as like a PGA Tour event, you'd think Augusta, but I'd have to think that maybe he gets in one before. Dan Hicks said something really interesting I hadn't thought about, the lead broadcaster on NBC yesterday as Tiger finished up. He was saying he's such a stubborn guy and only really likes to play the courses that he's historically played well. But that could have been, 15 years ago when he had a different body, and it's a little bit different hacking out of the rough at Torrey Pines than it was when he was in his 30s. But Dan Hicks made the point, I wonder if we see him at a few more maybe new tour stops along the way that we wouldn't have seen him in the past, that are just more are flatter courses, ones that he can get through, because the swing there, the golf game seems fine. It's really the endurance and the recovery day to day from the walking. So Augusta is, like climbing Everest, but if he can play the Valero Texas Open before, which is pretty flat, something like that, I wonder, made me think like maybe we'll start seeing him a few places, tune-up places that are more conducive to his body.
Yeah, I think they were talking about this on the shotgun start, but they were saying like Tiger, he keeps going back to all these courses where he's had a lot of success in one, but that's a different. Those are harder walks. So I think they're,
Yeah.
can he go find those? This guy Lou Stagner on Twitter he posts all this golf stats stuff with Arcos Golf. I follow him on Twitter. Don't know why he follows me on Twitter, but shout out to you, Lou, if you want to come on the
Shut up.
pod. So I went from marketing, SaaS technology tech company Dave on Twitter to I'm slowly morphing into golf guy Twitter. Lou posted this picture of Tiger 2019. On the left, he looks like a regular Tiger, and then they posted a picture from this week, and he's just got veins popping out. His arms are massive. His upper body's huge, and I'm starting to become like you, be a reply guy on Twitter, and I just posted like when you can't do leg day anymore, and this is how we're gonna build up this pod. Just in the comments, that tweet at 14, just commenting on this guy's tweet about Tiger, I wrote, when you can't do leg day anymore, 14,000 views on Tiger's tweet, but on that tweet about Tiger, but he's clearly taking something. This guy has been, since the early days, experimenting with all these different blood, the whatever it is. He's taking something. He is humongous with his upper body. I can't articulate why. I'll have to have Janko. We have to talk about him sometime and talk about the swing. But his swing looks really different. His upper body is huge, and he just kind of covers the ball more. Like, it looks like it's Tiger's body, but my brain it's used to seeing that old swing, and it just, something looks different. But I'm glad to see him hitting the ball well. Golf is better when Tiger's playing. I just think people got to be realistic. Like, this guy's 47. He's had 100 different surgeries. Like, I know
That's
we're
the
all
trap, Dave. You're falling into the trap. This is
Which
the
is
trap.
what?
How many
What's the
times have you
trap?
probably said though in your life, like, this is like, he's had a great run, but like, this is starting. You think you said that before the Masters or after the Thanksgiving massacre with Elon 10 years ago?
No,
I've just
I
at a point
know.
I don't
I
count him
know.
out on anything. And golf is such a variant sport that you just need 1 week to put it together. He's hitting the ball way past everyone still. So we know every week in the tour anyone can win because it can just click. I wouldn't put it past him to win 2 or 3 more times on tour before the end of his career.
Okay.
That might not be a hot take, but it could. But if you're only playing 4 or 5 times a year, it might be. But it wouldn't surprise me to see him win or be in contention again. Because especially a place like Augusta, where we know age and strength really aren't always the determining factor. Like, anyone can kind of figure it out there. Bernhard Langer's every 3 or 4 years is kind of in the contention there. Obviously Tiger, Jack in '86. It wouldn't surprise me to see him even being competitive this April.
I need some data golf out of you on Tiger, specifically on the distance piece of this. I'm just curious to know.
It sounds like you want a P test.
I don't want, dude. He can. Who knows what would be in that guy's P? First of all, but distance wise, I mean, hey, if he can hit it, the thing that actually got me, and I'm not just trying to shit on Tiger, obviously. His short game is so good, and it's so fun to watch. You see, he had this like insane short-sided bunker shot where he just like hit it into the fringe and it just rolled out. He's so crafty with that type of stuff. His hands are amazing. We'll get to the rollback stuff, but that stuff is so fun to watch. The little sneaky, nippy little shots around the greens.
Yeah.
I miss that. I enjoy seeing Tiger. So fine.
Same.
There you go.
Good to have him
it.
back.
He did finish 20 shots back, and I'm so sick of the thing that's ruining Tiger for me is golf Twitter and golf Instagram and Zyre Golf and all that stuff. I saw this one guy, his wife. This is all probably fake stuff anyway, but This guy's in his wife's going into labor in the hospital, and he's got the iPad up, and he's got Tiger and Sunday red. Like, get a fucking life, get a life. Tiger's 20 shots back on Sunday just because he's got a red shirt on. Like, you're in the hospital, your wife is about to give birth. He's 20 shots back. What are you trying to relive? Like, what are we doing here? Please don't. This is what has ruined Tiger for me. It's not you. It's not Tiger. I love him. It's this type of content online. I don't need it.
I'm 100% with you, Dave, and I say that even though a couple months ago I posted a photo of me when my wife was getting her epidural, holding up an iPad, watching a Celtics Sacramento Kings game in the hospital. So
That's
where were you then for me?
That's on brand for you. That's who that is. But the Tiger, we get it. We get it. Ugh.
Oh, if it was April, Tiger would have been on that iPad, Dave. But
right,
thank
good.
you for thinking that's
All
acceptable.
right, let's be done with this hero thing. Oh, let's talk about Collin Morikawa cheating.
Sure.
Story? Is this a story or a non-story?
You tell me. Explain to me what happened. I followed on the fringe this
All right.
weekend. I saw
So-
his press conference, but
Yeah,
you
we
tell me.
sent this to each other. It says Collin Morikawa. This is from Nuclear Golf, my favorite Twitter account. Now, Collin Morikawa's caddy. So he was assessed a 2-stroke penalty at some point. And after the round, it was for after the round. Collin Morikawa's caddy used a device on the practice green to calculate slope, which is not illegal. But he then added that information to his handwritten notes in the yardage book, which is a breach of the rules. And I guess what happened was either after the round or but yeah, at some point between the next day, Matt Fitzpatrick, who was his playing partner, ratted him out, or whatever you want to call that, to tour officials. He got a 2-stroke penalty. Apparently, he flipped out about it. Understandably so. If you think you post one score and someone comes in and calls you on something super petty, but this was, I don't fully understand this. So there are rules there apparently. So all the caddies, you have some type of book. You have a yardage book, right? And you can make notes in it, but apparently there are limits as to what you can write in there and what you can use on the golf course. The thing I didn't understand. So the black and white of this is there's a rule. He broke the rule. He got a 2-stroke penalty. And end of story. That is what it is. This is golf, right? There's lots of finicky little shit like that. That is what it is, right? The thing that I didn't understand though is like the caddy used a level on the putting green, and then somehow they used that information on the 4th hole. Like that's the
what I
part
don't understand.
that I didn't understand. And so I said, like, how does knowing the slope on the practice green help with the slope on the 4th green? I don't understand that part. So if you do, like, tell us, email us longgamepod@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to hear about that. Two things. Number one, Morikawa just overall has decayed in my interest over time. When he won the 2020 PGA, the 2021 US Open, love this guy. He's kind of little. He smashes the ball. He's a track man, perfect on the track man. They call him a zeroed out guy. He's just perfect numbers. He's young, he's new, he's exciting. The more that I start to see this guy and peel away his personality, especially watching the full swing thing last year, I'm starting to put him in that JT bucket of like kind of got a little personality that's not really for me. The thing that I didn't like is all these bullies on Twitter and Instagram with going after my guy Matt Fitzpatrick. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. This is golf.
Hilarious.
He's on the fucking PGA Tour. There are guys that I play with on a Saturday morning or a Tuesday afternoon in a men's league in the 3rd flight at a local golf course that will call you for something way less petty or way more petty than that. So don't go after Matt Fitzpatrick. This is golf, right? It's a rule. He violated it. Somebody, he's going to say something. So I'm not here for the Matt Fitzpatrick slander. That's what I wanted to come on and say today.
No, I'm with you. I like Fitz. I do have to say, hilarious to call this on. I assume he'd call it anywhere. Hilarious to call it in the Bahamas at the Tiger Invitational Vacation Classic.
Like just
hilarious,
right?
In the 3rd round.
Right.
Hilarious to call that. He can't be a popular guy, right, on tour. And I think that's kind of his thing. He's kind of a curmudgeon, Fitz. I love it, but hilarious. But I will say, if there's someone who knows the rules about what you can and can't write in your notebook, it's Fitz, right? He's kept every yardage book of his entire life. Have you ever seen that? The clip where he has
insane.
like every single one he's ever had.
Yeah.
So that guy definitely knows the rules, but I don't have a problem with it. If you break the rules, you got to play the right way. Morikawa, he seemed to have some kind of a excuse that an official at a different tournament had told him it was okay, or they had talked to other people about doing it, so they seemed confused. But it just seemed the thing I can't get past it with this thing is that it was the Hero World Challenge. I can't get past him reporting it at this 20-person field, and I can't get past Morikawa and his caddy trying to like gain this much of an advantage on these green. It doesn't make sense to me. Like it seems like it couldn't have been really malicious because the stakes were so low, but who knows?
All right, so Morikawa insisted he had no issue with Fitzpatrick, but this is from The Guardian, but seemed unclear about the precise nature of the rule and unhappy about the way the matter was handled. We made the mistake, he said, from our understanding. Okay, this makes more sense now. From our understanding, it's fine to use a level. It's fine to use a level on the practice green and see how putts break and write that down, but obviously it's not. Okay, so they learned something about the break. He used that note on the fourth green.
This is a resort golf course.
I
What are we doing?
know. This is great. And then this is great. Morikawa was so mad because the head rules official on the tour, I guess he said they needed to have a meeting with him in the locker room.
Yes.
And he said
I love
this is Stephen Cox, I guess is the guy's name. I was a little mad at Stephen. He told us to meet him in the locker room. This is Morikawa speaking. I was waiting in there for around 5 minutes and he didn't show up. And this was midway through my warm up. If you're going to tell me some news, I think you should show up on time. So to your point, these guys are in the Bahamas in like a relatively, an all-star game level of event. The principal says, Collin, I need to see you. Like interrupts your warm up. Says, I need to see you in the locker room. This guy, big leagues, doesn't show up for 5 minutes. I love that.
I was going to say this is when you know you're guilty, is when you're like, or when you know you're lying when you're saying like, I'm not mad about it, I'm okay. But then you spend your focus on like, well, then the guy told me to meet in the locker room and he wasn't there for 5 minutes. Like, okay, you're just channeling your frustration towards that guy. Yeah. Sorry you had that issue finding him, but that's not a good look it's not very relatable to the people.
I guess the more we talk about this, the actual real interesting detail is like, I want to know how and when did Fitzpatrick like find this and how does it get reported?
Well, he before that clip or wherever we were reading that, I saw a longer clip of that, and he said that the caddy was informed in the morning, but they were not sure what they were going to do, and he didn't tell Morikawa on purpose because he didn't want to disrupt his warm up. And then like 45 minutes before his round, the caddy got another text saying we need to meet, and that's when he told him. So Morikawa probably got a lot of that thrown on him at once, whereas the caddy knew for a little bit earlier in the morning, but still. Interesting sequence, but
I wish the penalties were more like in an event like this. It's like, all right, great, you got to play today's round with no gap wedge.
Lose a club, yeah, or a rolled back ball. We'll punish you that way.
All right, but Fitz is not a snitch, so lay off him.
No.
All right, let's move on. The hero is done.
Well, to be clear, he is a snitch, but that's okay.
No, he's not a snitch.
You can't say he's not a snitch if he snitched on him.
I don't know the
What would you say he did then? What would you say he did? I'm not saying it was the wrong move. I'm just saying, what would you call that move?
Golf is a gentleman's game, and he saw a violation and he snitched.
There you go. We got there.
All right. So this week is the Grant Thornton Invitational. We're gonna get to the Guest Our Sponsor Challenge. I did not look it up. I do know that Grant Thornton is purple. The Grant Thornton Invitational is a mixed team challenge.
Brand new.
That brand new sees 16 LPGA players and 16 PGA Tour players competing together in a unique co-sanctioned tournament for equal prize money. The 32-player event is held at Tiburon Golf Club and the Ritz-Carlton Naples. Dude, we gotta come back as professional golf. For this weekend, you're in this time of year to be on tour. Oh my God, they're in the Bahamas at this Albany resort. Then they're down at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples playing this, this little slap it around with a LPGA Tour player. How fun is that? Overall, we got the hero, we got the PNC. Where would you stack rank them? Of what are you most interested? Is this interesting to you or not?
I think it's super interesting. There was a headline. There were headlines 2-3 weeks ago. Was it Lexi Thomas that played in a PGA Tour event?
Have some respect. It's Lexi Thompson.
What did I say? Thomas. Sorry.
Unbelievable, man.
All right, we'll pick that one up again. Wait, I've already forgot Lexi Thomas.
Lexi Thompson.
You know I'm going to pick her too.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool when there's that kind of crossover. But it's really cool that they get to compete together. And I feel like we've been hearing about this for like a year because I think like Fowler and whoever he's playing with have been doing commercials promoting it. Some other people, but
Yeah.
I'm interested. I think this is kind of a little bit like the live thing where let's try some new formats and team based stuff. I know it's not the same thing, but I think it's interesting to see just what that looks like on TV and the fact that it's kind of mixed pairings, different format every day, equal purse for both ladies and men, which is really cool. So I'm excited. I think it'll be really cool to watch, especially this time of year when it's usually not exciting golf. So I'm up for this.
Yeah,
You?
I like God. This is gonna sound like not a live. I love the two person team golf. Like
Yeah.
we love the Ryder Cup. We love the President's Cup. I think mixing. I love golf in all forms, and so you got men's golf, you got women's golf. Women's golf is something that like I don't ever seek it out, but if I'm just like messing around on TV or on YouTube, like um maybe a year or so ago, the guys at No Laying Up, they make these amazing they do this amazing video content. They did like a week in the life of Stanford women's golf.
Oh wow.
It was so good. It was like an hour and a half. It was so good. And I think that the, watching women's golf is super interesting to me because they often have such better the tempo is everything feels so much smoother. They have to hit much more shots than you see on the PGA Tour where these guys just hit driver wedge, driver wedge, driver wedge. So maybe as I can talk myself into this
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Solheim Cup is like one of the best things to watch in golf, period. Men or women. That's awesome. So I'm with you. This will be really cool to watch.
Never seen a hole.
Well, we'll have to change that next time, Dave.
I guess.
But you'll correct me on the pronunciations of the name. At least I support it, okay?
All right, let's do the title sponsor challenge before we get in. We're gonna do a draft for this week, so because there's no
So I'm not sure how even scoring works for this. I know there's 3 different formats they're going to play every day, but I'm not sure exactly how they're going to get to a final scoreboard. Is there match play one day too? I'm not sure. So we're going to have to figure out how we actually rank this, but there is not.
Well, there's got to be a winner. There's got to be a leaderboard, right? There's some type of winner,
right? But I guess there's a money list too. I don't know why it's not part of the Grinders Tour. It's not not an option on our website. But
all right,
so we're going to do our own kind of side bet.
Friday is a scramble.
Friday's a scramble.
Friday's a scramble. Each player hits a tee shot, and then the team selects the ball to be used for the next stroke. That's kind of fun. Saturday is foursomes, alternate shot, and then Sunday is modified 4-ball.
Okay, so there's not match play. So we'll just be usually you see alternate shot or whatever in Ryder Cup. It's all a match play, but this will be fun. So it's not gonna be part of the Grinders Tour leaderboard, which you're woefully behind right now. I think you're $1.5 million behind, but
gross.
We'll have to figure out a different side bet for this. But yeah, this will be a fun challenge. So I'm going to give you. Oh, we're doing the sponsor challenge first. Okay. Yes. So last week, not so hot with the hero.
By the way, remember how we were like, I didn't know what the hero did. Like, and you were like, well, and then you said on the pod, I was listening. You said, well, if you've, I've watched this. I've watched this event before. They have giant motorcycles on every tee. Within 30, I watched one hole, and there was. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is."
Tiger hit a wedge and then hopped on the back of a motorcycle and drove up to the green.
Pretty much.
And I forget his name, but the guy that is the head of Hero. That's just if you Google this guy's name in Tiger Woods, there's 400 shots of them just standing or posing on different motorcycles and scooters. It's hilarious. But yeah, so what do you think Grant Thornton does?
Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to find the CEO of Hero as ideas. I think Grant Thornton is an insurance company.
Go on.
I mean,
what kind of insurance?
All life, home, auto.
Nope, incorrect. I just wanted to see how far you could go with that. So Grant Thornton is a consulting firm offering accounting and business advisory services covering areas such as audit, taxes, corporate finance, information technology, litigation strategy, and more.
Ah, interesting.
So
okay, so I'm looking at Grant Thornton. So they are So all these companies do the same thing. PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, McKinsey, Ernst & Young.
They're not the top. They're not the big 4. They're like in the big 6.
The
I think I read.
Challenger. They're the Challenger brand
There you
here.
go.
I hadn't. I thought this tournament existed before because I do feel like I would always see maybe Ricky. Maybe Ricky is one of their guys or
Yep.
something.
He is.
They had so many fucking commercials I've seen on PGA Tour events in the past.
Yeah.
That's how I knew
So
them.
I think
The purple.
they've moved on to the tour,
All right,
sponsoring
great.
the
So
event.
if I ever need an audit for Exit 5, I'm going to turn to Grant Thornton.
Perfect. So I think you're 0 for 3 on this. So we got to get better.
That's great.
Yeah, Grant Thornton, not an easy one. It sounds like a 3-and-D guy for the Celtics, but doesn't he?
Yeah.
In like 2013.
Yeah, dude. There's your
Yeah, we
clip.
got him in the KG trade.
There's your clip. He was in like the was it Mark Blount era?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Right.
All right, you want to do? I'm going to give you the first pick this week because you gave me first pick last week and I got Scotty.
Hell yeah! All right, great. For the with the first pick, and this is only to piss you off. I'm taking Megan Kang and Denny McCarthy.
Well, I made the mistake of telling you not to take her last week, so that's on me. But yeah, Boston Golf Club Zone. Shout out Boston Golf Club. Megan Kang, first tournament win a few weeks ago. So
wait,
what's her
what's her story actually? Why does she play out of? That's actually kind of a big deal. There's a and is she's obviously got to be one of the top players on the LPGA tour if she's playing this event. Does she live in Boston area?
I think she's from Brockton. I think her parents are from Vietnam. Initially moved here. She has a great story. I'd encourage people to look it up. But I think she just trains out of BGC. I'm not totally sure why. But she's had a long journey. But she won her first event this year. She made the Solheim Cup, I think, for the second time. Seems to be coming into her own. Is one of the big personalities on tour. She was always featured. She's smiling and was one of the top personalities on the US team.
She's from Brockton, huh? She qualified for the 2012 U.S. Women's Open at the age of 14. That is insane,
crazy. And she has a BGC bag, so always fun when I see that pop up on the.
I mean, it's a great. You got the hat. You got the hat on today. I'm sorry to do that to you, but I got look, dude. I'm $2 million behind. Like I gotta make some moves here. If she plays, and Denny missed you. What do they say? He's the best putter on planet Earth. So I'm gonna rock with Megan Kang and Denny McCarthy. You're up next?
That's gonna be a hell of a 1-2 punch. Okay, I'm going to take Tony Finau and Kelly Norda. They're gonna be my first pick. And I gotta write this stuff down.
Hold on.
Did I mispronounce that? Sorry, dude.
You're a clown, Kelly Norda. I don't even see Finau on my page. Oh yeah, there he is, Tony. Nellie's got the best swing in the game.
If you weren't so focused on stealing my pick, you maybe would have seen
Kelly Norda. I know she has. They always show her swing on Instagram. She's fantastic. All right, Tony's been playing well. I love Tony. He makes a good move on the ball. I was worried about you taking this team. This team is so obviously, clearly going to win this week. I'm surprised they didn't go first. Well, I guess I had the first pick, and I wanted to spite you and pick Megan. I got a Sahith Theegala and Rose Zhang. That is a gangster squad right there.
You said you were surprised I didn't pick them. What you didn't know is I did just pick them because I get 2 picks in a row.
Fuck.
So thank you for the suggestion, Dave. So give me that group again. I want to make sure I got that right.
That's Sahith Theegala and Rose Zhang.
Awesome.
Rose is actually better than Tiger. FYI.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's great.
Damn it!
Go ahead, pick to you. You want me to pick for you here, or you want to pick for yourself?
I want to root. I don't even have. All right, I'm gonna go with Ricky and Lexi. Sorry,
I like it. And you get one more.
I got it, dude. Just because you don't hit on one, you gotta stick to your guns. I have a feeling that my guy Lucas, the flusher, is gonna have a comeback week. So Lucas is in the field. I'm picking him. I got Lucas and Leona Maguire.
I love that. So I'm down to 2 here. I'm a big Tom Hoge fan. Are you a Tom Hoge fan? There's a great clip years ago of his friend watched him win the Valero Open the week before the Masters, and he got into it, and just this video of this guy yelling at his screen like, "Tom's going to the Augusta." So I've loved him since then.
Yeah, like his buddy or something like that.
And he's playing with Cheyenne Knight, who I think is related to Tiger Woods, but I'm actually
absolutely not. I just looked that up. She's not. You're thinking of
Cheyenne
Cheyenne Woods.
Yeah, different same first name, so there's something there. But I'm going to go with King Ludwig And Madeline,
Obviously.
can you give me a pronunciation on the Swedish last name? I need a
Aubert.
Swede for my team.
Aubert. Oh, Madeline, what's her name? Sagstrom?
There you go.
There you go.
That's my
Congrats. That's a good squad. No, this is Cheyenne Erin Knight. She's born 1997. She's an American professional golfer. She played college golf at the University of Alabama, 3-time All-American, 2017 SEC Player of the Year. Cool.
Got it. Tiger Woods' niece. Got it.
Yep. Same name, same letters.
Okay. So those are our
All
picks
right.
for the week.
I'm invested in this. And we also have, each week we do title sponsor challenge where I have to guess the title sponsor. But we also like to, take you, we're both foodies here and we like to take you in and out of the restaurants on tour. So first of all, there are two I don't know if you knew this case. There's two Ritz-Carltons in Naples.
I didn't.
Okay. This is the Tiburon. That's where this is.
Sure.
And this week, I would look, if you're going to be there, I would just recommend eating on site. There is a great place right there at the hotel. It's called Ria. Go hit Ria for lunch. Okay. Here's what you got. This Naples, Florida restaurant features fresh homemade dishes and drinks inspired by a variety of Latin American traditions and techniques in an elegant yet refined setting with outdoor seating. You and me, we both have little kids. Outdoor seating, fantastic. We can bring the kids. They got your salads. They got your mains. They got burgers and sandwiches. They got tacos. I would go hit the barbacoa tacos. The kids could get the cheese quesadilla and call it a day. So this week, we're at Ria for lunch at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. We've been getting emails. We're going to get to one later. We actually have a listener review of the Davis Love the Third Grill. So if you've been to Ria for lunch in Naples, feel free to shoot us.
People love the guestaurant reviews. They really like to hear where they should eat based on absolutely no information. So,
right.
If you do end up heading to Ria this weekend, write us, and as always, tell them Dave Gerhardt sent you. That's 25% off your entire bill. Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the prices on the prices actually look pretty reasonable. So
awesome.
This is not Albany in the Bahamas.
Great.
All right. Here we go, Case. It's rollback time.
Ready?
This is our story for the week. I'm gonna give you the floor here.
Really? Well, it's interesting. I told you this a little bit before we joined, but with all the rollback discourse going on, I found myself becoming more and more anti-rollback just because of some of the stuff I see people posting about being pro rollback. A lot of frustrations from people, but I think my number one thing is this does seem like the number one opportunity for anyone who's a good golfer to take shots at mid-handicappers. I've seen that all over the place.
Did you steal my notes? Did you steal?
No, but
this is going to be my whole argument.
Oh, okay. Well, you want to go first, and then I can share. If I see one more time someone say, if a 12 handicap thinks this is going to affect them, it's just unnecessary. But my whole thing is, I'm anti this, and not for any personal reason. I could give a shit less if I'm 10 yards shorter in 7 years, whenever this is going to happen. It's not me. To me, this is annoying. And it's annoying because it just creates another avenue for people to disagree in the golf world, which the sport went, I feel like 100 years without being controversial. And then the last 3 is you can't go a week without people arguing about golf over something like this. I think it just, in a time where there's so much division in the sport, it's just adding up. It's adding way more arguments. I think it opens the door for like a live golf to say like, hey, come play whatever equipment you want here. Like, just further divides the sport. It seemed rushed. I know they did studies. They clearly weren't ready to announce it when they did. Someone leaked it, and we all know how that goes. But I'm anti it, mostly because of how pro some people are about it. Go ahead, Dib.
That's a good take, man. I was not ready for that. I agree with you.
All right, good. Moving on.
Yeah, there's been a lot of nonsense. Same way that we don't like, is it interesting that like live golf is a thing and has it made controversy? But like, would we also like golf better if like literally everyone just played in the same league on the same tour?
Right.
So I totally
How about
agree.
Bryson down in the Bahamas? He can't get a vacation, Dave?
I know. I love Bryson. Bryson.
We're trying to mend golf. We're not trying to create more division.
I know.
And I think that's all this is doing.
Like the fact that there's no Bryson on tour just kills me.
I
Yeah.
want to hear your opinion on this, Dave. But can you first? You may know a little bit more about this. Can you? Because it's very hard for me to find it. Can you lay out the reasons for this?
All right. Well, I can try. Obviously, I'm far. I get my information from people like No Laying Up and Shotgun Start, and they've been
Nuclear
talking
golf.
about this nuclear golf, like red emoji breaking. Yeah.
Plutonium signs. Yeah.
So obviously, the golf ball has gone too far. People 50 years ago, or 100 years ago, or even 20 years ago,
No pun
weren't
intended.
hitting the ball 330, 340, 350. And I think what has happened, and so basically golf has all of the governing bodies of golf, which I guess is the USGA and the RNA. I don't know where I don't know if the PGA fits in that, but they have decided that the golf ball is people are hitting it too far, and that's changed the game. And I feel like that is a black and white accurate statement, right? Which is it's a different game. It is you hit the ball 330. Like nobody 20 years ago was hitting the ball 330, 340. Maybe there'd be one or two very long guys on tour. But it's kind of taken away. It's changed. The guys at No Laying Up, they call it like bomb and gouge on PGA Tour, which means you just get up there, you smash driver, you hit wedge, you smash driver, you hit wedge. Even somebody like an amateur player, I'm a 2 handicap. The strength of my game is my distance. I hit the ball pretty far relative to other people that I play with, and I can hit the ball 320, and that has become a huge weapon in my game. But I make a lot of mistakes with ball striking, and so because of the ball and the technology, I got this humongous driver and a ball that goes really far. I don't have to necessarily hit I can hit one off the toe and it has no spin and it's going to go 320. Where somebody like Billy Horschel has talked a lot about, like they want to place the emphasis on ball striking, and this is kind of whether you're using the clubs from today or old school persimmon or whatever, like golf should be about hitting the ball in the center of the face. That is the like repeated activity. So there's been so many things that have contributed to the length in golf. It's the ball. It's also the club. The club head used to be much smaller. The shafts used to be different. But there's also people are training for golf now, right? There is golf specific fitness, and there's TrackMan, and they have optimized the shit out of what does it take, and people are kids are now learning at 12, 13, 14 years old how to move their body in an optimal way to hit the golf ball further. All this to say, like the modern, courses today, they say they can't, weren't built for this. And so they're running out of real estate, or they got to make courses longer. There's a whole side of this. So they want to they've decided that they're not going to change all the clubs. They're not going to change all the golf courses. They've decided the variable that they can control is the golf ball. And so they're going to create a new golf ball that is going to spin more and not go as far. They've tested it in all these different conditions, and they're going to say, hey, here's a new ball, and everyone's going to play this. And so I think what a couple months ago, the thinking was that there was going to be this bifurcation of the golf ball, which is a ridiculous word. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a business. Rule number one, if you want people to buy into something, don't give it a fucking name like bifurcation. Like you give it a simple term.
People just went with it too.
I
like,
could
does
be
everyone know what this
walking down
means?
the street and talking to my neighbor. He's like, what do you think of bifurcation? I'm like, what? And what that meant was like basically the pros would just play with a different ball than us regular people, which I wasn't a fan of that either, because what's fun to me about golf is like I can't dunk a basketball like LeBron, but I can stuff an 8-iron to 2 feet and feel like I'm on tour for a minute. And so I want to play with the same balls and clubs that they use on tour. So for that part of this argument, I'm more in favor of that. So anyway, they're making a change to the golf ball. That's how they're going to try to get a wrangle on distance in golf. That's the story. This is not going to be in play for 7 years.
Totally. I saw that. What I think is 5 years for the pros, 7 years for amateurs.
Yeah.
I saw.
Yeah. And so
I asked you.
You've mentioned a lot. You mentioned an interesting thing, which is like, so what is that going to mean, right? We're going to all have, dozens of like, pro.
This is what I mean. It's annoying.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like when Keith gets called out, your member guest, in 7 years because he finishes around with a 2022 Pro V1X, right? And he gets called in it. Maybe it's because I've been hammered over the head with this, that the 10 handicappers not going to know a difference about this. So if that's true, and then he gets caught with his ball at your member guest, he says, "Oh, I didn't know it was an old ball." It just, there's so many little complaints and issues. Like we all find golf balls all over golf courses. Someone's going to find one in 7 years that's an old one. Someone's going to play it, then they're going to get called. It just seems like such a hard thing to enforce, or I don't know, enforce is the right word, but I don't know. I asked you,
Yeah, just from a quality, just from a control, like a
yeah.
control standpoint, like how is that going to be possible to
By the way, if they're
standardize?
gonna put all this tech into reverse engineering these balls and making them go less far, and they're putting all this work into that, then they can put a GPS chip in there too, so we can find our balls. Okay, if we're gonna do a whole tech upgrade on this thing, let's do it all. So that if the ball manufacturers really want to advance the technology here by going backwards,
No,
but
they don't. You didn't hear. This is why there's this whole thing about Titleist. Titleist created this thing called the Titleist Performance Institute, which is
I've been there.
yeah. So they do a lot with swing analysis and
Right.
body and fitness and movement. You know why it was created, right?
No, make money, I would guess.
Make money, because they found that people wanted people to play more golf, right? Because if you play more golf, you're going to lose more golf balls and have to buy more golf balls. And so if you can't play golf because you're 50, you're 55 years old and you hurt your back, Titleist is going to make less money. So they created they created TPI to enhance the performance of golfers, make people healthier, make them be able to play golf longer. So now you can lose their Pro Vs until you're 90. So
Well,
there you go.
yeah, I'm with you. It just, I don't know. I asked you what the problem was, and you gave a lot of good information, but I still don't know what the problem is. I think you, at the end of that, you came to the courses aren't big enough. But what's the what is at your local course? What's the issue there? Like, are scoring records being shattered, and you
No,
guys got to
there's
do
no
something about
issue.
that? Are there
Absolutely
houses that
no
are
issue.
getting hammered
No.
because the balls are going through the fair? Like, what is the problem it's
Yeah.
addressing for
Yeah, no, there's not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. And those houses, there are houses getting hammered, but I got to tell you, those houses are still going to get hammered.
Right. And I heard the Shotgun Start guys talking about, like, it's good for the average amateur that when they go wayward, right off the tee 280, it's going to go less far like that. Sorry, this is not helping any of that. People are going to shank balls out of bounds left or right towards other people
Well,
forever. That's
and
not going to be
the difference is supposedly going to be like 5 or 10 yards. It's not going to be some all of a sudden like magical like remote control ball. It's not like the ball is going 50 yards offline and it's all of a sudden going to, because you it is. I'm with you in that, like, there's a lot of nonsense here that I don't
But that's my
understand.
thing. It's like it's hard for me to get behind a movement like this when I don't understand the problem it's addressing. I know I'm being told, but I don't understand like, is it because nice old golf courses that are historic aren't able to be played in the open rotation anymore because the players hit the ball too far? So, like, we can't play St. Andrews anymore, or on tour. Like, is
Right.
this coming all the way down to you and I on the golf course being
Yeah.
affected? Apparently
No,
not at all
that's an
because of
interesting
that.
point. That's an interesting point, and why I get that there's, history and nostalgia and everything, but, like, why should it be the same as it was 100 years ago? Like, if
Right.
St. Andrews
What
has
is
become irrelevant, then
what is the same, right? Like that. I understand sports have to evolve, but, like, think of the Tiger came on the scene when he won the Masters 96.
yeah, I don't know.
Technology exploded then, right? Because Nike got in the game, and everyone wants to hit the ball as far as Tiger, and the long game there became attractive, and the technology and the ball has kind of caught up to it. But there was that gap when Tiger got on tour, right? That between the average player and what Tiger was doing, that was with the same equipment. So my fear is, like, the next guy that comes that has that big of a gap in pushing the sport forward, is it still going to be recognizable? Like, does that make sense? I
Yeah.
don't know. Without understanding who's, like, why this needs to happen, I'm sure there's a lot that they're just not saying. I'm sure this comes down to bottom lines too. It's all
Sure.
money.
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard for me to get behind it. And also, who's no one's thinking about this, Dave? How about the kids at the drive, chip, and putt? You're rolling the ball back on those kids. They worked their whole year to get to Augusta, and Jimmy, who hits the ball 210 yards with the driver, now he's going to hit it 195 on TV.
Jimmy's going to be a sophomore in college by the time this actually gets
It's
played
shameful,
out.
Dave.
I'll just
It's
read
shameful.
you a quote from a certain McElroy Rory on Twitter. I don't believe an average golfer giving up 5 to 10 yards off the tee is going to have a material effect on their score, handicap, or enjoyment of the game. And then there's just so much I don't know. I've never been good at having very definitive takes on things that are kind of wishy-washy like this. I could be convinced of both sides. But then there's another comment that says, I don't believe, then someone says, well, then you obviously know very little about the struggles of the average golfer. So I don't know. I think you've convinced me that like, it's annoying. It's a weird stain on the game of golf, and we're going to have to listen to it for however many more years until it's real. And, but I would say, to your point, start stashing those 2023 Pro V1Xs right now for your member guests.
That's a black market.
What's going to happen though? Like, there's gonna be like a black market on eBay. Like,
totally.
I paid $200 for an old dozen of Pro Vs.
It's like the old Four Locos that they made illegal, right?
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
They'll be dude, if I drank a Four Loko, I'd have a heart attack right now.
Especially one from 2013.
Oh my God, sick. All right, we got to keep it moving. There'll be more. This is not the rollback podcast, but it's a topic, and it's coming. Yep. All right, let's flip over to inner OB. Inner OB. This is our version of buy or sell. Case, give me your inner OB for this week.
Sure, I got a unique one for you this week because it's not kind of the way we usually do it, but I'm going to do an inner OB buy or sell on a tweet I saw, and I want your opinion.
Is it from Nuclear Golf?
No, it's not.
Damn. Right.
But it could have been. It's from Live Golf Nation. So someone felt
my answer is already yes.
So they asked the other day, would you rather play 18 at your local Muni with Phil Mickelson or a round at Augusta National by yourself? And my question on this is this the dumbest question you've ever heard in your life?
Wait, why is it dumb? Is the answer so obvious to you?
To me, it is, and I need to be checked on this. But again, would you rather play 18 at your local Muni with Phil Mickelson or a round at Augusta National by yourself?
Oh, you're gonna hate me so much. I'm gonna play.
No
18.
way.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. I love Phil for the same reason I love Bryson. If I could play. That guy is the biggest golf nerd on the planet. You could learn about. If you hit this chip off the toe, it's going to spin right. If you hit this thing off, I want that knowledge. Me, I couldn't even share that. If you said I could play that, if it was my dad, your dad, you and me playing Augusta, we could make a day out of it. Out there by myself playing Augusta, whatever. Give me
whatever.
Phil, give me 18 holes. Me and Phil at Green Hill in Worcester. Give me what's that Linfield? Give me
Sagamore.
Give me 18 with me and Phil at Sagamore. You can have Augusta. I don't even know what that place has been disgusting. The way they've treated people for so many generations. I don't want any part of it. I'm taking
you hate
18.
that they let women in now. So
I'm not. That's what Gary Player said, right?
I don't know.
I'll take an 18 at the Muni. By the way, I love this. I love this for inner OB, finding little nuggets like this. I'm a fan. What your answer is Augusta, obviously. Because you're a traditionalist. You take your hat off and shake hands. I get it.
My choice is around at Augusta, especially by myself.
With Condoleezza Rice.
No, the thing is, or around at Augusta by yourself.
I forgot.
Like you can't pay to play. You can't pay to play Augusta, but if you could, I'd pay more to play. Right. Like who's ever played that course by themselves.
And because you don't have to play with some like awkward dad friend.
Can you imagine? Oh yeah, but imagine just like you're on one. They're like, go ahead, we'll see you after 18, and you have that course to yourself. That would no one's ever had that.
You come in after. You bring your bags up here, and guys like how to go out there today. He's shining your clubs. Like
the fuck I want to play with Phil Mickelson for. I know people that have played with Phil Mickelson for like a hole in some kind of charity thing where he plays one hole. Everyone has said he was an asshole and like took money from them.
Great, bring it,
asshole. I don't care. It'd be really cool to play with a pro, and Phil is obviously a legend. But if I can play Augusta National by myself, if I can just play Augusta National, but if I can play it by myself. Yeah, Fuck Phil.
Okay,
Sorry.
I need your answer. Write us longgamepod@gmail.com. Are you gonna play Augusta by yourself? Are you gonna roll with Casey and play Augusta by yourself? You'll have the tee time.
Not
maybe
rolling with me. I'm
behind
going
him.
solo.
I mean behind you. He'll be behind you. Or are you gonna go play Green Hill with me and Phil? All right, I got an inner OB for you this week, Case.
Okay.
It's not really a buy or sell, but I'm kind of we're kind of using this as a bucket we can just put a bunch of random stuff in. I want to know how do you mark your golf ball?
Oh, this is a great question for me. I've been doing I've done so many different things over the years, but I've definitely spent way more time thinking about this than any part of improving my game. What I do now, and it takes a little bit, but I need a yellow Sharpie, I need a black one, and I do a smiley face on it.
So you color it in.
Do the eyeballs, smile,
like
and then
that.
I color in a circle. Yeah.
like
Poppy
it.
started. My daughter started liking when I was doing it because I bring them home and just give it to her. But when you're like in a pissed off mood and you go find your ball in the woods and you see that smiley face just kind of staring at you, it's nice. What do you go with? Here we go.
You're gonna hate this. It's so lame. Just a red, just a line, just a red line.
I like that.
Here's why I like it. And for a while I was playing that TaylorMade Pix ball, with the logos all over it, like the icons all over it.
Yeah.
I like it because I like walking up the fairway and immediately knowing which ball is yours. And so I think the smiley face is like that. But I like this. I like the red line. It does something for me. It works.
That's it. So it's just a red line. Nothing else anywhere else.
I'm thinking about evolving. It, and I play the Pro V1X, obviously. Just a red line. Simple.
I like it. It's funny. Now I'm thinking the amount of like drawing I do on mine. I've probably been rolling the ball back on myself for about 5 years, just because there's half the ball's weight in Sharpie ink on it.
It's like, dude, you could hit this like nice high cut if you just didn't draw, if you just didn't put the smiley face on there.
And then then Dave, after the round, I write on it. If I keep the ball the whole day, I write same ball all day Hall of Fame.
I love that.
Which is rare.
I love that.
If you ever finish a ball with the same round all day, don't lose it. Don't ever put that back in the bag. Don't put it back in play the next time. You put that on the shelf. You write same ball Hall of Fame. You take a picture. You tweet it at us. We'll retweet it.
I love that. We'll retweet it. I have a question though. There's no point in your round, like if you're on the 12th hole and you hit the car path and you got a massive scuff on it, but you got same ball all day going, are you letting that rock?
This is the equivalent of like taking a pitcher out that's got like 130 pitches with a no hitter through like 7.5, right? You're like, well, you don't want to get in the way of history here, but performance is going to be an issue. Yeah, if there's one that's starting to look probably not way back in the day, but I wish I could find it because I haven't. The first time I saw it, I should have saved it. I haven't found it since, but there was something on Instagram I saw of people had tested balls with scuffs on it. And it legitimately went like 15 to 25 yards
I think
shorter.
It's like a My Golf Spy thing. I've seen it. Yeah. Because then I saw you see that guy Michael Kim on Twitter. He's like a PGA Tour player, and he's one of he tweets all interesting. He said he changes his ball every 3 holes. Like no matter the guys on tour, they change the ball every couple of holes no matter what. And wedges cut them up. Also, I just feel like the Pro V1s, especially in the X's, they get you could hit a good shot and they get scuffed so easily now. Maybe with the rollback ball they won't. There's also a lot of like funny superstitions. I think like guys they believe that every ball only has, I forget who it is, but somebody believes every ball only has 1 birdie, and so if they make a birdie with that ball, they take it out of play.
I love that.
Which I love that. Like that's pretty gangster. For me, I don't have this. I don't do same ball all day, but I will. If I'm playing in like I've done this. If I play in a tournament and I played really good the first day and I have the same ball, and I start off my next round and I'm a little bit shaky, I will go back and I use a new Pro V on the new round. I will go back to try to get the juice from yesterday's ball. I will remark it and I'll try to like channel some of those vibes. So I'm not with you on the whole ball. I'm going to do it this year though. I like that.
Well, how about this? I play a Pro V1X, but I carry some. I play Pro V1s. I carry some Pro V1Xs though, because if mid round I like need a switch up, I'll just switch it. Like not even thinking like I need more spin, less spin, height. I'm just like I just need to feel a different thing. And if it works for him, like I'm just playing with. It's crazy. But
I love that.
It's sometimes that's all you need. You just need a little shake up. Right? Do we have time for one more?
Yeah. We got time
All right.
for one more.
In or out on this one. This is having your phone status be on do not disturb 24/7. In or out on that?
Are you taking a shot at me here?
I am. Dave is on do not disturb 24/7, which begs the question, why have a phone if I'm never allowed to contact you?
I would prefer not to. If I could have a phone that the only person that could, if it was just like a two-way communication device between me and Leah, I would prefer that. And then
That's called
everything
a
else could just
walkie-talkie.
be in Slack.
They have those in Vermont. They're called walkie-talkies.
A flip phone. That's so true. Yeah, I literally my whole life is like, hey, sorry, I missed your call. What's up?
You just throw it on. Like, do you have to ever reset it, or you just put it on and
No, I
it's good
don't.
for
I
a
didn't
while?
even know. Like, I don't even. It just must be on that. It's not on purpose. Well, it is on purpose because I wanted no notifications, but it's no.
Have you heard this from anyone else?
No.
Okay, so it's just on me then.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's not something. It's not. No, it's not. But it's like
Everyone's like,
something
I don't have that when I text Dave. Like, oh,
Yeah,
Casey just found
no,
out.
I didn't know that it shows up though for everybody. It's something that I read on lifehacker.org or something.
Cool. All right, so
All right,
you're in on that, I guess. You're in
yeah,
on
I'm in
being
on that.
do not
Keep
disturb.
that shit on silent. You don't need those distractions. Get some like. How else am I going to write 1,500 words of prep for this golf podcast on a Monday
You're right.
morning? Right.
You're right.
You got to
It's true.
focus, man. Okay, we got some listener emails this week. So email us longgamepod, longgamepod@gmail.com. We got a DL3 grill review. Happy to serve as a Sea Island. This is happy to serve as a Sea Island consultant. What was this fella's name?
Mark in Connecticut.
All right, Mark.
That was his call-in radio name.
That's
Mark in
right.
Connecticut.
I have a friend of mine with a burner Twitter account that he calls Boston Mike, and he just trolls like sports talk radio. Boston Mike. His name is not Mike, and he doesn't even live in Boston anymore. Anyway, so Mark from Connecticut sent in a Davis Love III grill review. I'm happy to serve as a CIN consultant. I've been going there for 30 some odd years. Family's been member there longer, but I digress. It's a very long email. We shout out to you, Mark. I appreciate the support. But he said the Davis Love Grill, literally nobody's first choice, but a great option if you find yourself playing golf away from the actual main clubhouse at a 5-star resort. So go and check it out. There's a lot in here. There's a Bavarian pretzel, the DL3 burger, and my favorite since the mid-90s is the Gold Brick Sundae. It'll set you back about $60 before alcohol, but hey, at least you're not hungry anymore. And then we also got an email from Sean. Shout out to you, Sean. Sean works at a great company. They make a fine looking set of irons at Tacoma Golf. Tacoma Golf. Hey, Dave, I've been following you on LinkedIn for a while, and a friend of mine sent me the details on the Long Game Pod. Through my company, I run PR and community for Tacoma Golf. I'm curious about your goals with the Long Game Pod. The Tacoma boys will certainly keep an eye on the show's growth. Case, how would you articulate our goals for the pod?
Inform, be accurate with information always. What would you say? Timely, definitely timely. Like we never put out a podcast about the virtual league maybe being delayed and then they cancel it 5 seconds later.
What did you call Lexi? What did you call Lexi?
I just call her Lexi, Dave. That's what I call her.
All right. So Tacoma Golf, shout out to you guys. Mark from Connecticut, thanks for the DL3. And then
is the rollback even going to matter with those irons? Those things look sharp.
You're gonna need them. Yeah, you're gonna need them when the rollback 7 years or now if they want to sponsor the pod. Obviously, I just got all new Titleist stuff, but I'm a big sponsorship guy. So if you're down to swap me out, I'd be open. I need to check the spin numbers on the TrackMan first. But Case, you got a listener text. Can you tell me? You haven't told me about it.
I did. I got one from my dad this weekend, and I think you'd like this one. He said, I'm going to paraphrase it here, but basically he just wanted to complain. He said he's not a fan of those playing through commercials. So I don't know if you've ever heard anyone complain about that before, Dave. It's a hot take, but
wait.
My dad doesn't like the playing through commercials.
Has your dad listened to the podcast?
He says he listens. I don't think he does, and I don't think he's lying. I think he watches the clips, and he's like, I listened to the podcast. I'm like, oh, you did? So you listened to the whole thing? He said, yeah, the whole thing. And I said, the clip? He goes, yeah. I said, the podcast? He said, yeah. So the listener text was not like, hey, I listened to this episode. He just wanted to let you know that he doesn't like the playing through commercials. Yeah, I can pull it up if you want to vamp, as they say in the industry here. Let's vamp. This is big. There's a lot happening in the golf world. So
The playing through though, it's not the playing through that bothers me. It's like they don't seem to have any context of like maybe let's not do the playing through right now.
And it's always a 90-foot. It's always a 90-foot like no chance birdie putt that you can't even see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with the playing through. I would pay $19.99 a month for a Spieth and Greller like feed of everyone. I can't get enough of that.
Okay, this is so much better than I thought. Hey, I saw your Thanksgiving blog about the things you're thankful for. Pretty funny. If you ever do the opposite question, I'd like to add that damn split screen playing through. It pisses me off. It pisses me off every time, and I always make a mental note to never buy or support whatever company that ad is. I'm not alone on this either. It's one notch above the rotating NHL hockey boards.
Dude,
that might need to be a segment.
He's like, oh, great. You know, I'm not using for my next audit Grant Thornton for that damn playing through commercial.
I'm just thankful he supports the blog.
Shout out to the blog. I wish I took notes because there's about 3 clips, three no-brainer clips for this episode. All right, things are getting chaotic here. Thank you for listening to this episode of Long Game Pod. Send us an email, longgamepod@gmail.com. Case, good to see you. I'll talk to you later in the week. And Chris Ford, if you're listening, we're going to do our best to make sure that playing through gets fixed. All right.
Rory, join the pod.
He's talking the long game.
They played the long game.
They've got to play the long game.
Their experience and they played the long game.